hanging by a thread that grows more precarious with every moment in your presence.
I want my sister to be happy. Can you make her happy?
True love is worth it. No matter what.
So I'm Jane with NextShark.
Lovely, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I'm such a big fan. Yeah, let's just jump in right into it. So we find out Penelope is Lady Whistledown at the end of last season. And this season, we see a lot more Penelope and her secret element. What do you think being a Lady Whistledown means to her? Do you think it's Penelope's revenge against society in a way? Do you think it's more about freedom?
I think it's a multitude of things. I look at her as someone who grew up in a house where she felt very misunderstood and often maligned. And, she doesn't have that sort of quick verbal wit that her mom and her sisters have. So she could never sort of go toe to toe with them in that. But then she's a reader. So I feel like she, is so smart, has taken all that in and expresses herself far better through the written word than through that. And then I think it's just a way of claiming her power, going, I'm never gonna get it in the same way that they're gonna get it, but I can get it in my own way. And then I think also it becomes addictive to her because people love what she writes. The society are completely obsessed by it. So then that makes it even more, it bolsters her to continue to do it.
Yeah, speaking of that, most characters kind of seem like an open book to the audience, but Penelope has so many layers, and especially in season 2 we see like sides that kind of shock the audience. She's not this simple one-dimensional character. So what would you say is the best thing about playing Penelope? What are the challenges of that?
Well, you know what? It's so fun playing a character like that because, in season 1, I knew it was a lot. I knew she was Lady Whistledown, so I always had that in mind, but I sort of knew that the audience weren't going to see that really. You were going to find out in the final moments, but you couldn't have me sort of at the edge of a ballroom writing stuff down. It had to be subtle. So it was the fun of going into season 2, going that, knowing I got to play all the different sides of her. But it's, the challenge is sort of balancing it all together. But I think what's important to know with her is that I think she's contradictory in a lot of ways, but she's just complicated. But in the way that a lot of women are and aren't often allowed to be on television, you're either the good person or the bad person. You're it's this. But I'm like, she's just complicated. I think she's a good person deep down, but I think she does questionable things, and I think she lies to other people and to herself an awful lot. But it made every day going on set a new challenge because it was always something different to play with her.
Let's definitely talk about Penelope's style, the speech, the dancing, the set. There's so many details to think about when starring in a historical piece. What would you say was the greatest challenge, like attire-wise or even character-wise, in playing Penelope?
I think, the challenge of period dramas, it's such a labor of love because it's such an involved process. It's like getting up at 4 a.m. and having a 2-hour, costume and wig, get up in the morning, like getting all that done. It's not easy. And then the days can be like 14 hours and you're in the corset for that long. So it kind of like physically it's an exhausting thing to do, but ultimately it's worth it because you love the show, and it's such a nice ensemble too, that's what, totally makes it worth it. And then, people loving the show too. You're like, I will film this ball for 5 days because I know it's going to like make people happy. Then the challenges with the costumes as well, of like me being like, no more yellow dresses. No more. After that, I've done 2 seasons. I've done my time. So like, let's hope we can move into like slightly more flattering shades for season 3. I'm hopeful.
Right. How long did it take for you to fully get into costume?
For costume, I would say it's about a 10-15 minute process. You can't dress yourself because it's all corset lace up the back, so you need someone to come in and dress you. And then you need someone to like, and all the gowns are all hook and eye, so it's someone all doing that. So even in the evening, when you're like dying to go home, there's no just like jumping in a car. Someone has to come and undress you, and then you have to go in and get, your wig lifted off and get everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big process.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Are there a lot of similarities and key differences that you feel with you and Penelope?
Definitely. I think, the similarities I feel like are, you know, I think we've all felt like that shy girl that sort of is a bit misunderstood, and especially when I was younger, you know, yeah, you'd feel insecure and unsure of yourself, and knowing about that like unrequited love and seeing someone you like dancing with another girl and the heartbreak of that. Um, I think I suppose I share some of her ambition also. You know, she's someone who really loves what she does and, you know, does what she needs to do to keep doing it. I have that in me too. But I couldn't deal with not telling the people I love what's going on. I need to confide in my family and friends. I wouldn't be able to sort of keep, and I think if I were her friend, I'd be like, you gotta spread this out, you gotta let it go, and you gotta tell people that you love what's going on.
For this last segment, just like lightning round kind of questions. Go to food or snack on set.
Oh, on set, I love, oh, you know those sun chips? Like yeah, they're just not, and they don't like feel as like unhealthy in the packet of crisps, but they're just so tasty. Oh, so good.
Oh my gosh, sun chips. Favorite Bridgerton set to shoot on?
Favorite Bridgerton set to shoot on? I love getting to go to the Bridgerton house. Because it's always a fun time and there's always lots of them in there. And the vibe, like the scene's always like a happier scene than in Featherington. In Featherington, there's always some drama going on.
Oh my gosh, I love the house. Thanks so much, Nicola.
Thank you so much. So nice to speak to you.